hand. So let's take a look at the back of him. Let's take a look at his butt. He has a nice little butt there. No, I just can't. What am I saying? Hey guys, what's up? My name is Anthony, and welcome to another edition of Film Analysis. And today what we're doing is reviewing all Phillip Rivers' turnovers. I believe I missed one or two fumbles, but what's gonna happen. But some of them are interceptions, others are fumbles, like this one by Ture. This is the first game of the year, ironically, against the Colts, and you can see Okung curses himself out because he realizes how much of a mistake he made. No bend, no anything like that. I don't blame Phillip Rivers for this. This one is a 3rd and 9, I believe. You take a look at it. Yeah, it's a 3rd and 9 in the third quarter. They're up by 8 points, and you're driving down the field. So in this scenario, you're just like, let's get a field goal. Let's make it a two possession game. Let's try to drive down the field here. And basically, Phillip Rivers, the same thing happens with Okung. He's about to fire, but he gets stripped again. Not really his fault completely, but you kind of have to be aware. Step on the pocket a little bit more. If he's just a little bit faster, he doesn't get that strip from him. And I'm not going to replay that again. Let's just move on to the next one, because this is the fourth quarter. There's 9 minutes left, and they are threatening to score. And so you see Phillip Rivers. He sets a man in motion. Fake, nice fake. Throws it to the end zone, and it takes a million minutes for it to get there. Bad decision by Phillip Rivers. He has to gun that and sling that. I don't think he has the arm strength anymore. You're talking about Eli Manning with arm strength, and we're going to see this habit a lot. He doesn't have quite the arm strength to zip it in there. Yeah, come on. You have to get it in there. I mean, the top quarterbacks make that throw, but not a lot of people do. This next one is against the Lions, and this is to end the game. So he wants to throw up a 50-50 ball to Keenan Allen, and it wasn't 50-50 at all. He had forever to throw. Just throw up a 50-50. Throw it up high. You never know what's going to happen. Let's take a look at the clean pocket. They're only rushing 2 people. And, yeah, so what are you doing there? I don't understand that. This next one is the Broncos earlier in the game. And you see Phillip Rivers sets a man in motion. I believe this one takes a while for him to snap it. So enjoy. Actually, no, it doesn't really take that long. So he's taking a look. He's going through his progressions. And he throws a ball that's just, you can't, it's just inaccurate. And this is all on Phillip Rivers. You step up in the pocket. You have to give up a good throw. We're going to check this out from the other angle, I believe. And let's zoom up a little bit. So he takes a snap. Nobody's there. And what was that? You give it low. The guy had, leverage towards the back of him. So why would you throw it up? He's behind you. So throw it to his gut. And there's nobody in front of him to, potentially, bat it down or anything like that. So I really don't understand that. And Phillip Rivers frantically runs. This next one by Phillip Rivers is also inexcusable. You're on the 2-yard line. You have to get a point here. I believe it's in the 3rd or 4th quarter. And then you just throw it right to the Denver, cornerback. You do not see him whatsoever. How in the world do you not see the defensive back right there? He's trailing him with his eyes. I guess it's kind of hard, but if you're an NFL quarterback, you cannot do that. This next one was just a pitch back. I don't believe I got it all, but it's a pitch back, ends up riding high, and the Steelers score. But the main thing to highlight is this is early in the game. So the Pittsburgh scores, it's 7-0, and then 5 minutes later, there's this play by Phillip Rivers. I believe it's also a fumble or maybe an interception to Devin Bush. Let's check it out. If Phillip Rivers wants to snap it here today, I don't know what he's doing. Okay, here we go. So this is going to be an interception. It's tipped. And it's a pick. That's 2 interceptions in the first 5 minutes of the game. That is the offensive lineman's fault for letting the defensive lineman raise his hand. So let's take a look at the back of him. Let's take a look at his butt. He has a nice little butt there. No, I just can't. What am I saying? Okay, so he snaps the ball, and it's tipped by 54. And honestly, I really don't think that he was that open. To be totally honest with you, I think that would have been an interception by Devin Bush anyway. So let's move on to the next one. This is late in the game. This is the last drive of the game. They're losing by 7. He backs up a little bit of a crunch of a pocket, and then he just decides to chuck it up deep. I don't know which wide receiver that is. I think Mike Williams maybe, but yeah, that sucks. That was just a bad throw. He just chucks it up, but it ends up going too far. So he's missing everywhere, I believe, at this point. So let's take a look at this. Is early in the game against the Bears. He just decides to throw it right to that. I think that's Kyle Fuller. That's just a bad play. I really don't know what that is. So you're taking a tally here. You say you have about 7 interceptions. Really, 6 of them were his fault, minus the tip that, I guess he is getting pressured, but, you released it. You panicked a little bit. I guess that's a little bit of the offensive line. So here's against the Raiders. He had 5 turnovers this game. So this is the first one. He's trying to throw deep, and it's tipped. Bad throw. The cornerback had him the entire way. That's a little bit of the wide receiver's fault because there may have been a pass interference on that play. You could see that, he's like, well, I'm not sure if he's complaining about the spot of the interception or whether he's complaining about, pass interference. So we have this other play. I think this is the same play. But basically he has a clean pocket and he doesn't get enough air on the ball, and he doesn't put it in a spot where only his wide receiver can catch it. This is, I think, later in the first quarter as well, so these are like back to back to back. He throws it, and his wide receiver falls down. He throws it to nobody, so that is a big mistake. So this next one is midway through the second quarter, so at least it's not early in the first quarter or late in the fourth. They're driving to score. It's a somewhat of a tight game, you could say. At what happens here. So he's going to take the snap. Wide receivers 2 lined up on the left side. He's really eyeing that, and the defensive back reads him the entire way, gets the interception, and another turnover by Phillip Rivers. Taking count, that is number 10, I believe, and we are only at like the 5th, 6th game of the season. I'm not even going to play from this angle. There's really no reason to. The defensive back was just reading his mind the entire way. They're down by 6, third quarter, 7 minutes left, 3rd and 10. On their own 43, so you ideally want to score here. You don't have to score, but it's you want to get some points up on the board so you don't have to frantically panic. Protection is as good as you can get it. Gets a little bit hit, fumbled because he wants to hold on to the ball, and then the Chargers guy holds on to it. So now it's a 4th and whatever. You're gonna swap the Oakland Raiders field position, and there's a flag on the play on an offensive lineman, a holding, but they obviously decline. So let's take a look at it from this other way because we can see exactly what happens. Russell Okung was injured, I think. No, there he is. This is as good as you want, but he just basically can't sense the pressure. He's a little bit herky-jerky in the pocket, and it costs him. So this is still the same game, and this is, I think, to seal the deal in the game, if I'm not mistaken. So he just wants to chuck it up, and the defensive back is right there. This is definitely the last play of the game. You can tell Derek Carr is humping him, and guys with no helmets. Good for them. They win the game. But basically, good protection. Good protection. There was no reason for Phillip Rivers not to complete that pass. So sorry about this. The thing is so long that you can barely move back and forth. Takes a step back. That is totally on the left tackle, not his fault. Fumble. So a lot of the fumbles, it's not really his fault. It's the guy. He has no chance here. Let's count. I know quarterbacks usually don't get more than 3 seconds in the pocket. 1,000, 2 1,000, and is that Chris? No, that's not Chris Jones. I think that's Frank Clark. Gets the ball, so that's not really his fault. So they're up 3-0, second quarter with 9 minutes left, 3rd and 8. So not a really urgent situation. He's pointing out the Mike linebacker here. They have I think this is called like a dog front or something. So it's a little bit something unique. But the offensive line really picks it up, and then he gets shortcut again. And that's intercepted. I think that's Tyrann Mathieu, and he returns it for a pick 6, almost. So let's take a look at it from the other way. You can see that, all right, I'm trying to figure out these, back and forth movements. So, Phillip Rivers, again, let's take a look, and yeah, that's really just his fault. He doesn't see that defensive back, and good effort by Keenan Allen to almost get the tackle, but he seemed like he didn't even want to tackle him at this point. Seems like the team has almost given up on him. So I don't know how this one slipped by me. It's 3-0. Ideally, you want to score against the Chiefs before they start catching back up, and we've seen them come back from way bigger deficits than this. 14 minutes left in the second quarter, 2nd and 9, and they have the ball on Kansas City's 25. Oh, there's it again. And so you see Phillip Rivers is ready to take the snap. They're looking. It shows like they're about to blitz right here. So Phillip Rivers is definitely a little bit nervous, and he takes a snap. Great bend, dip by Frank Clark. He basically stripped. This is like a strip sack, but ends up landing right in Nadi's arms, and he's really excited that he got this, interception. Even though Frank Clark did pretty much all the work, and he didn't really get any progress he didn't really get any progress, but. Phillip Rivers, that's not really. This is one of them where it's just not his fault. There's not much you can do here. Let's take a look at him. He's really excited. Oh, there we go. 4:20 left in the fourth quarter. Phillip Rivers goes back to throw. He sees a guy that's wide open, he thinks, and then Tyrann Mathieu undercuts it. I think that's the wide receiver's fault not to get positioning on this. I really don't think that was too much of Phillip Rivers' fault. He's trying to throw it up here. And, so again, decent protection by his team right here. You're going to get rushed, but you have free as anything. He doesn't take the underneath route. He goes for it all. And, I think that's a half and half fault. You have to make something happen. And then to seal the deal with 24 seconds left, you're down by 7. So you guys can win this game. You know, they did this last year. They scored a touchdown, went for the 2-point conversion, and ended up winning the game. This is where Phillip Rivers has to be strong. At this point, you're like 2-6 or 2-7, so you need to make something happen. And Phillip Rivers goes back to pass, and obviously he gets intercepted. But, you know, you didn't throw it high enough. You didn't throw it high enough to give your wide receiver a chance. I know he's a little bit small, but, you know, it's just a bad throw by Phillip Rivers. So let's move on. I don't want to see this one again. Let's move on to the next play or next game. You see that Phillip, they're playing the Broncos again because in division. He backs up the pass, goes for a little bit of a screen, jumps, and throws it right to whoever that is on the Broncos defensive line. That's all his fault. You set up the screen, but, you know, if you throw it right to the Broncos guy, that's not really going to help you that much. So, yeah, that's all his fault. That was his only turnover that game. And this one against the Vikings, they lost by a lot of points. And it got ugly real quick. So he throws it up to nobody. I mean, you take a look at it. There are 6 defensive backs in the area, only 2 of your wide receivers. So that's not a good decision to make. As a guy that, like, early in the game, you cannot make that mistake. Let's take a look at it a little bit in fast motion. Step up in the pocket. Decent protection. And, well, what were you trying to do there? Again, short changes that ball. So now it's 12-10, so it's still manageable. 2nd and 2, right before the second quarter ends. And Phillip Rivers, you know, you're trying to get a field goal here. You're trying to get a field goal to put yourself ahead before halftime. You belabored a little bit. You're a little bit nervous. Palms are sweaty. Knees weak. Arms are heavy. Come on, just snap the ball. What are we doing here? Okay, so he snaps the ball, takes a look left, is, you know, confused at what's happening at his feet. Then it's a strip fumble. Guy picks it up, and I believe he returns it for a touchdown. So that's obviously the worst case scenario. And now instead of winning, you're losing by 9 at halftime. And then speaking about halftime, after halftime, let's just skip this. You don't really need to see blah, blah, blah. He gets stripped, and then he, you know, falls. So this is later in the game. And Phillip Rivers, no running backs in the back. So nobody to protect him, no one to give that extra protection. So you know he's passing it here. Quick little pass. And, well, it's a strip by Hunter Henry, catches it and stripped. I think Hunter Henry is so overrated, but that's not really his fault. And finally, in the fourth quarter, you're just trying to make something happen. 7:30 left. You're losing by 29, so it's a 4-possession game at this point. Just go deep. Just go deep and, well, intercepted, shortchanged it. Defensive back saw it the entire way. I don't really blame him for taking a shot downfield, but I kind of do as well. That was just a bad play by Phillip Rivers. And let's go through the rest of the one. So this is the last game of the year. You're playing against Kansas City Chiefs. You are 5-11 at this point. So, yeah, let's win some games here. Let's chuck it up deep. Mike Williams to 50-50. Okay, you know, that's just basically a punt. They start up from the, you know, from the 20. I don't really blame him. You know, it's his last game of the season. He's just trying to make some stuff happen. I don't really blame him that much for this one. Whatever. So, let's take a look at this snap. So, he backs up the pass, obviously, because that's what you do. Throws it to the Chiefs. Like, I don't understand what he's trying to do here. I think it's a long to gain right here. And this basically, I think, ices the game. Yeah, the Chiefs, I'm not the most analytic person or whatever, but they're basically playing a prevent defense right here. They're guarding the sticks. And this is obviously like a 3rd and 20 or something like that. So, yeah, 4th down, you see, by the marker. It's 4th down and like 20. So, obviously, you know, Phillip Rivers, this is not a horrible decision. You're trying to make something happen. At least he didn't go down like a sack or something. And we're going to end this video basically by the Chiefs winning 31-21 and taking a knee. So hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys.